West Virginia's source for news. Eyewitness News starts right now.
Good evening to you. I'm DeLancey, and this is Eyewitness News. We begin with breaking news tonight. Escaped murderer David Sweat has been shot and is in police custody after law enforcement encountered him this afternoon. Sweat was taken into custody roughly 2 miles from the Canadian border and has been taken to an area hospital. Sweat's condition was not immediately clear. This comes after 2 days after Richard Matt, Sweat's partner in the prison break, was shot dead by officers in New York State. The two convicted killers spent more than 3 weeks on the run after escaping a maximum security prison in upstate New York. Next tonight, a trailer accident causing problems on Interstate 77 here in Kanawha County. I-77 South was reduced to 1 lane near the Westmoreland exit. A semi-truck veered out of the left-hand lane, crashing into the I-79 overpass. Emergency responders pulled the driver and a passenger out. Both are in stable condition with non-life-threatening injuries. The Kanawha County Sheriff's Department is now investigating. The National Weather Service has confirmed a tornado in Jackson County during Friday night's storm. The Weather Service says the tornado touched down Friday night about 2 miles outside of Ripley and traveled 1.5 miles. It toppled trees along a path of up to 200 yards wide and caused minor damage to a nearby church. The tornado was rated EF0, the lowest rated tornado with maximum winds of 80 miles per hour. Police now say 1 person is dead and another seriously injured after they crashed their SUV during a police chase in Chesapeake, Ohio. It happened around 8:30 this morning on U.S. Route 52. Police say a Hanging Rock officer tried to pull over the driver when he took off. The driver lost control trying to exit onto the 17th Street Bridge off-ramp and hit an embankment. The SUV went airborne, flipped, hit a utility pole, and then landed in a wooded area in the edge of State Route 7. The passenger died at the scene. The driver was taken to St. Mary's with serious injuries. Their names have not yet been released. We now know the names of 2 people accused of shooting each other during an argument in Campbell's Creek yesterday afternoon. The shooting happened in the 3500 block of Spring Fork Road yesterday afternoon. When troopers got to the scene, they say Christopher Paxton was laying in the front yard with a gunshot wound to the chest. They also say Christopher Johnson came out of the home with a gunshot wound to the arm. Paxton told police he lived in the home and was working in the garden when Johnson came out and began arguing with him. They say that's when he says Johnson shot him. Johnson was released from the hospital and arraigned last night. He's facing malicious wounding charges. Troopers say that he confessed to shooting Paxton. Well, Paxton is still in the hospital and his condition is unknown. A Charleston woman is behind bars after police say her 2 small children were found blocks from her home alone and half naked. Zane Sims is charged with child neglect creating risk of injury. According to a criminal complaint, her 3-year-old and 5-year-old daughters were found 2 blocks from her Buring Avenue home. The children were alone and wearing only their underwear. When police got to Sims' home, they say she had been sleeping and they say she was the only adult in the home. Police are continuing to search for the man that they say held up a bank in Wayne County. This is the man that police say walked into the Fifth Third Bank in Canova's picture right there. They say he pulled what appeared to be a knife and demanded money. This all happened around 10:20 that morning at the Fifth Third on Oak Street in Canova. Witnesses told police that the man took off just afterwards, running through the alley between Oak and Poplar Street. Next tonight, a teen was seriously injured this weekend after a shark attack off North Carolina's Outer Banks. Erica Greenway has more.
For the 2nd day in a row, a swimmer has been attacked by a shark on the Outer Banks. An 18-year-old boy was bitten this afternoon in the water near Rodanthe. David Marco snapped this picture on the beach as emergency crews.
Coming up, a hearse stolen with a body inside, where police are searching for their suspect. That's next. You're watching Eyewitness News, West Virginia's source for news. Absolutely, guys. Right here at Station 30, the lights are out. It is dark here. Power is off, but the emergency crews are on standby. You can see them sitting right back there, ready to go to just about anything. Right now, they're preparing to go rescue an elderly woman out of her house. A tree has fallen on top of it, and another tree is in the driveway. So they're going to go pick her up. Apart from that, the calls have been sparse. Not a lot of emergency-related damage going on here, but high winds have come through this area, and we're getting round 2 of the storms right now. We've got boats set up both on the fire chief's truck and one set up in the back of the fire station here in case high water rescues need to happen. But all of that high wind came through. I know over on Oakwood Terrace we had some pretty high winds bringing down trees. Civilians came out, regular citizens came out and started cutting those trees away with chainsaws to try and get them out of the roads. And I know that another tree has fallen on a church out towards Cedar Lake, out Route 21. And of course, power's still out in the area here, but we had our very own meteorologist Brandon Stover came in on his evening off here, and he was chasing this storm from the very beginning, coming out. You're going by Kenna.
Yeah.
And as you come by Kenna, what do you see with the storm?
Well, my girlfriend Carrie and I decided to go up north towards Ripley to chase after the storm. This storm originated near Cincinnati. I mean, one single thunderstorm living that long, what we call a supercell thunderstorm. These are rotating thunderstorms. Doesn't necessarily mean a tornado caused us damage, but we made it to Kenna. We saw the south side of the storm. We went up on the ridge there, Fisher's Ridge, and we saw in the background some rotation and a lowering, what we call a wall cloud. And it doesn't necessarily mean it was a tornado, but I did drive down Route 33 here, Sean, between Ripley and Spencer, and it's a mess out there. Trees are all over the place and a lot of damage across the area. So I would imagine that the National Weather Service may look into this tomorrow to determine whether this was tornado or just straight line winds.
We're going to have to hear it from the National Weather Service for sure, but you saw the storm rotating. Are you calling tornado? No tornado.
Well, you know, 30% of supercells produce tornadoes. So not all supercells produce tornadoes, but even in the absence of tornadoes, the supercell itself can still produce those strong straight line winds. And so that may be the case here. But I do know that when I looked at my radar, I got a little scared because I saw that tight, what we call the velocity couplet. The winds were shifting and rotating very rapidly on radar. And I was concerned because my brother lives in Ripley. His wife lives in Ripley. My two nephews, Red and Braxton, who I adore, I was very worried about them. Thankfully, they're okay here tonight, but that's what you're worried about when you see something like that on radar. Just a serious situation, see this type of thunderstorm in central Jackson County.
Well, Brandon, thank you very much. Glad everybody's okay. And, of course, these emergency crews are going to be here for the rest of the night, trying to clean up and make sure that everybody's okay as this second round of rains come through here, which may have some high water. And, of course, never drive through high water. If you see it, just turn around and go home. Never worth it. And, of course, we're going to keep you updated over on our website, WCHSTV.com. and throughout the night. But for right now, reporting live in Ripley, Sean DeLancey, Eyewitness News. Dan, Minnie, and Huntington remember Ken Fox and Ken Epperly as the owners of Magic Makers before it closed. Well, they opened a new business in the same location just to have it smashed by high winds. Heavy storms rolled through Huntington Friday, bringing damaging winds and hail.
Crazy lightning, big noises, electric outlets going out, lots of wind.
That wind nearly ruining a brand new downtown business.
The wind came in on 4th Avenue and blew these windows out. And then it just swept right through this part of the store and blew out the windows on 6th Street.
Co-owner Ken Fox took photos of the damage. 200-year-old furniture ruined, carpets drenched, and glass everywhere.
Multiply this by 300.
Fox says the damage here would have been much worse if a local Good Samaritan hadn't lent a hand.
That man went to Scotttown, Ohio, took the wood that he was going to build a barn with, came back at 2 in the morning, and they finished boarding our windows at 7 in the morning.
Elsewhere in Huntington, huge trees like this one at the courthouse snapped like twigs. Damage is still widespread.
Everywhere, at least in the Huntington area, from Spring Valley, courthouse, Ridgewood, a little bit of everywhere.
Tree cutting crews worked through the day and expected to clear most of the damage by Sunday. Ken Fox says it's going to take a lot longer to get Avant-Garde back in shape.
We get new windows put in, which we will, and do a bit of cleaning and take some of the damaged furniture out, and new furniture come in, we'll be back in business.
Ken Fox says he won't have an estimate on damages until the beginning of next week, but they are open for business at a limited capacity today. Whitney, many players and families who've never seen Huntington or West Virginia, for that matter, say they thought they'd find it a lot more rural. They say they're pleasantly surprised and excited to see much more of the area. The 2015 Youth Soccer Regional Championships are officially underway. kicking off in style with a ceremony at Jones C. Edwards Stadium in Huntington Thursday.
I thought the ceremony was cool because it was kind of like the Olympics where like all the players get to like march around.
In total, nearly 20,000 players, coaches, and family members packed the house. Festivities began with a coach versus mascot tug of war, continued with a joke soccer game,
a beautiful stop by Little Caesar,
and ended with a very patriotic skydive into the stadium.
It was insane, like just watching them and like with the big flags, like I could never do that.
Governor Earl Ray Tomblin invited the families to see what West Virginia has to offer because many have never seen the Mountain State's rolling hills.
Have you ever been down to West Virginia before?
No, this is the first time.
I was thinking mountains, not a lot of people, not a whole lot to do.
The players come from 15 different states, some as far away as Maine. Many came with an idea of what they'd see. Most were pleasantly surprised.
The area is so beautiful and there's so many nice people.
It's a lot liver than I expected. I was expecting a lot of farms and stuff, so this is pretty impressive.
Inspiring a lot of young men and women to come back when the tourney is done.
I mean, I really like it here, and I think it'd be cool to come down and maybe like visit colleges down here and stuff like that.
Now, if you live anywhere between Charleston and Ashland along the I-64 corridor, keep an eye out for heavy traffic until the tournament is over, especially in the Barbersville area where the tournament is being held.